Hi guys, welcome back to another Halloween makeup tutorial. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be this Harry Potter dark mark tattoo. I love Harry Potter, you guys know this. I first posted this picture on Instagram a few months ago and a lot of you guys wanted to see a video on it. Also, let me know if you want me to do a part 2 to this video and do like a Death Eater mask makeup tutorial. I hope you guys like this video, and even if you're not going to be a Death Eater for Halloween, learning how to do tattoos with makeup is pretty cool and can be used for plenty different things. So anyways, I'm just going to hop right into it. So I'm going to show you guys how I use both gel liner and liquid liner to do these. So I'm first starting out with a Smith 202 brush. It's just a really tiny detail brush. And I'm just using some gel eyeliner. I think this is the Mica Beauty eyeliner. I'm just starting out by sketching out the skull. I like to use gel eyeliner because it's a little bit easier to control with that fine-tipped brush than a liquid liner is. So I'm just mapping out the skull right now. I'm just doing some details around where the eye socket's going to be. And making a line down his forehead. Is it just me or does this look like a stormtrooper? Anyways, I'm just adding some details going in with the skull nose. Now I'm going to start drawing out the teeth, so I'm making these lines that are going straight up. And then just going to make the little half circles all the way across his jaw to create some teeth. So now, as you can see, I switched to the liquid liner, and this is easier to do like big, swift lines with, so that's what I'm using to create the snake. So I'm just starting out with the body of the snake coming out of the skull's mouth. I don't know why my camera was being really annoying and going out of focus on me, but just, it gets better, I promise. So I'm just having the snake's body come out of the mouth and then a couple spots from the side or back of his head, and I'm overlapping the snake's body on top of other parts of his body, so he's kind of just wrapped around everything in a weird shape, but you want to make sure that you get the right parts overlapping other parts so it doesn't end up looking weird. And I'm switching back to the gel liner to do the details on the snake's head. I liked to use the gel liner to do the finer details, things that I wasn't confident in doing with the liquid liner, just because gel liner is a little more forgiving and easier to work with. So I'm just doing some fangs and just doing a little tongue coming out of his mouth. Obviously, forgot to mention this, but this is not the traditional dark mark. I put my own spin on it, so I wanted it to look a little more realistic, and then just add some details on the top. So this isn't going to be like the dark mark that you see in the books. It's going to be a little bit different, so just throwing that out there. So I'm drawing his very tip top of his tail coming out of the skull, and now I'm going in with a line that's going to create the belly of the snake. So his body is all twisted around, so obviously some of his belly is going to be showing at some points. And now I'm starting out with the roses. There's going to be one rose on his left side of his skull and one rose on the right side of his skull. And then in the center is going to be the Deathly Hallows symbol. So I'm just creating the petals one by one. I decided to use my liquid liner. This is the NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner, by the way. I like to use this liner because the tip of the brush is so tiny. So if you guys want to use liquid liner to do these fake tattoos, I would definitely suggest this one. Plus it stays and it dries pretty quickly and it won't smudge on you, which is nice because that is so frustrating. My first tattoo that I did is basically just a giant rose, so if you guys want to see me do this but more close up and bigger, then I will just list that down below. It's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing in that one. Now I'm starting to draw a leaf, and I will be coloring these in with color later, so I'm not going to really worry about doing too much detail right now because I will have to go back over it with the eyeliner after it's all colored in. I went ahead and did the rose on the other side, and now I'm just mapping out the Deathly Hallows symbol right in the center of the forehead, connecting the line that went down his skull into the line in the Deathly Hallows mark. And now I'm just going back over the skull with the liquid liner just to darken up the details because the gel liner wasn't as black as the liquid liner, so I just wanted it to match. So I decided to go in with some green eyeshadow, but that was not vibrant enough, and then I remembered that the first time I did this, I used this green water-activated face paint from my Wolf Effects Essentials palette, gave it a few sprays of Fix Plus, and this just really gave it like a fluorescent green color, and so I'm just filling in the body of the snake, but where I mapped out the belly earlier, I'm going to leave that blank, because typically the underside of the snake is not the same color as the scales that are on top of his body. So I'm trying to stay in the lines like I'm doing a coloring book or something, but if I end up going over the liquid liner, it's okay, I'm gonna clean it up later. So then I'm just going over the leaves, and I'm just covering up that middle line because it would be way too hard to try to go around it. So now I want the snake to have these kind of darker spots, so I'm just gonna go around with the liquid liner and add a few here and there around his body. I did use a picture for reference for the snake. If I can find it again, I will list it down in the description box. So the underside of a snake has these kind of ridges or these lines. So I'm just adding more texture by taking the liquid liner from one side of the snake and kind of tapering it out towards the other side. Not going all the way across to touch it, but just letting up before it hits the other side. And I decided I wanted to color in the snake's head, so I'm just taking the leftover paint on my brush and just filling it in. I decided to go in with a red eyeshadow from my Suva Beauty Pro palette to fill in the roses. I didn't want to use paint because that would lose all of the detail that we just did with the eyeliner, and using eyeshadow actually helps kind of dilute the eyeliner so it looks a little more faded and like a tattoo. I'm taking the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I am taking that dark gray eyeshadow. I'm just going to use this to fill in the spots on the snake's body. If you guys wanted to use a darker green paint, you can do that, but this eyeshadow over the green paint actually kind of made it look like a dark green. Now I'm dipping it into that black right there, and I'm just going to use this to shade everything. So obviously where something is coming out from underneath something else, there's going to be a shadow. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just taking a really small brush and fanning that black eyeshadow out and just trying to fade it out so it's darker underneath the skull and then fades out as it goes down the snake's body. So you're just going to want to do this anywhere that something is laying underneath something else. So any parts of the snake's body that are coming out from the skull or coming out from another part of the snake's body, you're just going to want to shade that with the black. This just really gives it some dimension and makes it look a little bit more realistic. I also decided to fill in the snake's mouth, and then I'm just going around and shading those leaves as well. I took the Smith 202 again, that really tiny brush that we apply the gel eyeliner with, and I just decided to add just a tiny bit of shading around the rose petals. Then I'm just going in with that gel eyeliner again, and I'm just fixing up the outlines of the snake and any lines that got kind of diluted by paint or eyeshadow. And then I'm adding an eyeball and just adding some more details around the leaves, outlining them again, adding that middle line that got lost earlier, and then just doing some really tiny lines to make it look a little more realistic. Now I'm just taking my NYX Loose Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm just going to take this and blot it all over the tattoo, and this is going to make it look a little more toned down. The liquid liner that I used was not matte, so it was a little bit glossy, so I just wanted to make it more of a matte texture and look a little more faded. And then, like I always say, I always add dots when I feel like it needs more detail, so I'm just going around and adding a few little dots here and there around the tattoo. And that's it. I hope you guys like this one. Again, like I said, let me know if you want me to do the part 2, which is going to be a Death Eater mask. If you guys love Harry Potter and you want to see that, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!